Hey guys, it's Wilson. I want to show you a couple of tools that you're going to need in order to create more complicated geometry than just the little boxes that you're used to on Inventor, so that you can make cooler Friday projects. First step, remember right after you open Inventor to go to Projects and either create a new project or make sure that you're on the project that you want to be on. Don't be in your TITB project. Find the one you should be in. You're going to go to New Part, and everything tends to start with a sketch. I always like to choose the XY plane to begin, and here we are. So quick review, you guys know how to make rectangles, and you probably know how to make lines by now. I always start hooked to this dot, and that's going to help me get a purple sketch. Remember that purple sketches are ready to be extruded. Green lines need more dimensions. We'll cover that. Let's say I want to make an L shape. So I could do this, and if you notice, this is clicking to 90 degrees. I want 90 degrees, so I'm going to let it. If I know it's going to be at an angle later on, I want to click it at an angle so it doesn't lie to that. So I'm going to draw the shape like so. Or I can draw a rectangle and then draw another rectangle, and you see how my L shape is there? I can click on Trim up here, and Trim will remove the lines I don't want, and I have the L. If I want to curve the edges of the L, there's a couple of ways to do that. I could use the fillet tool. That's based on numbers. Maybe I should put some dimensions on this. Let's say this thing's supposed to be 5 inches by 5 inches. And we'll make it an inch thick. So we'll call that 4 inches. And four inches. I still have a green line. We don't like green lines, so I'm going to grab it and try to move it. And it's still green. I'm going to delete it and redraw it. There, purple. Alright, so that's fully dimensioned. If I want to round the top, a fillet is a 1/4 circle. So if I make this 0.5, there's a 1/2 inch radius and a 1/2 inch radius. So that means it's a 1 inch diameter, and you'll see it's a perfect circle. I can also use the circle. See how it just clicks to the midpoint, slide sideways, and put that in. But you see how it misses the edge. It's not tangent to the edge. So I'm going to grab the tangent tool and make them. I have a whole series of videos that explain all these tools. Please watch it. They're really useful. I'm going to grab the trim tool and remove the lines I don't want. I have to delete that one. And I would have to add some dimensions to get that in the right shape, to get it purple. So, 2 ways to make curves, 2 ways to make lines. You can either trim them or draw them the original shape. I encourage you to play around with arc. That's really useful. There's different ways to make arcs. Line. There's actually some really elaborate ways to make lines that are really curvy. Spline kind of creates the smoothest line you can through some dots. let's extrude this. Go to extrude. I want to extrude this 4 inches. Now, let's say I want to put a hole on top of it here. I can make additional sketches on work planes. So anything flat, that's not flat, I can't do it there, but anywhere flat, I can right click and go to New Sketch. Find the midpoint there, put in the circle, let's dimension where it is. There we go. And I don't know, we'll make that 1.5. I need a dimension off the side, 2. And then I need a diameter of the circle. I'm adding dimensions until it turns purple, and I'm paying attention that I have the location and the size of every feature. Make it a 1-inch hole. Now, this is going to be a hole, but I still extrude it. But I click this button, and I need to click Profile, tell it that's the profile. So if you have a red arrow here, it means that's information Inventor needs. If it's a white arrow, it has that information. And looks like it's extruding long enough. It's extruding 4 inches. That's plenty to make that hole. And I have a hole in it. So using trim to make your shape, using arcs and fillet and circles to use your shape, adding a sketch on a work plane to add more complicated shapes. I could even go here, New Sketch, and let's say I want to hollow this out. I'm going to hit Offset. Let me hit Project Geometry. This is a great tool. I'm going to project all these lines, so these yellow lines are now in my sketch. Now I can use Offset to bring those together. So now I've created lines that are parallel with the edges of the part. And I'm going to dimension them. Call that 0.25. All of them are purple, I'm good. And now I can extrude that. I don't want to make it solid. I want to make it a cut. And I'm going to say distance through all, so I know it cuts through the whole thing. Just another way to do it. So now the part is hollow, and there's a hole drilled through it. If I want to edit any of this stuff, I don't make a new sketch. I go back into the old sketch. So let's say I want to make this thing taller. I'm going to find the sketch that affected its height. That's the first extrusion. There's the first sketch. I can see the height there in the dimension. I'm going to right click and I'm going to edit the sketch. So I bet if I change this to 7 inches, so it moved it up. Because this is green, this thickness didn't stay the same. So I'm going to have to add a dimension to that. So my angle changed. I'm going to come up over here. I'm going to find perpendicular. Remember, there's videos on all these tools. These are so useful. Make sure you watch those videos too. Let's see why I can't do that. So I'm going to start trying to drag things where I want them. And they won't drag. There we go. Alright, so I'm seeing a couple of problems. These two should be parallel. So I'm going to click parallel. And then I can make these two perpendicular. There we go. And now I can change the height. This height's controlling it. 7. See how there's 2 dots there? There should be 1, which I bet you means this is no longer an inch. There we go. Squeeze that together, the 2 dots become 1. I have almost a perfect purple sketch. This is green, which means I can drag that around. So I'm going to dimension that distance back to 4 inches. That is green. I'm going to pull on it. Oh, that's not tangent. There. Alright, so that was a lot of editing, but it's because I didn't have a purple sketch to begin with. Now that it's all purple, everything is constrained, nothing can move. I hit Finish Sketch, and that grows. So remember, you always hit Edit Sketch when you want to change something. Edit Sketch. You only use New Sketch when you want to make a new thing. You can make lines, you can trim them, you can make arcs, fillets, you can cut things out, or you can add material with an extrusion. Guys, the best thing I can tell you to do is spend lots of time practicing and exploring these tools. There's plenty more tools here, some of which I will teach you to use, and some of them you're going to have to learn on your own. Good luck, guys, and remember to ask questions.